Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm in Waikiki, Hawaii right now. If you want to find anything about me, go to MySpace or Facebook where I have an account. I'm also on Twitter. This here is an idea of mine to help accommodate passengers that have to drive or a long way to catch a flight out. Sometimes you have to go to the city or where you're going to catch a flight out, a day before because you have a long distance you have to drive to get there and you want to be as close as you can. And that's usually what I do. When I lived in Telluride and caught a flight out, I would have to go to Grand Junction. I'd go a day before my flight's out up to Grand Junction. It was about like 2.5 hour drive. So, and would get a motel or hotel close to where the airport is so that I'm close by and wouldn't miss my flight. But you notice what I have to do? I have to get a motel or sometimes a hotel. Um, what the airlines could do all over the world, hopefully, maybe not every country, but at least here in America, maybe in Europe, Canada, is they need to build motels within these airport terminals. The reason for it is simply to make it possible for people like me, who has to go a long way to catch a flight, to be able to be inside the airport before my flight leaves. That means I'm in the airport, and it makes it a lot easier to catch my flight if I'm right there. Now, these motels would be, you would not have to go through screening probably to board your flight unless you ask to. Then that way they could go ahead and take your luggage and stuff and you're done with it. Go to your room and the next day you can catch your flight. Something like that. It would really be helpful to a lot of passengers around the country. Before I came to Hawaii, I had to get a ride from a place called Wiwa, Florida to Panama City. Then I had to catch a bus from Panama City to Pensacola. Usually I do that like a day before the flight. This time I did it 2 days before the flight. Then I have to call that Monday morning, and get a cab ride all the way to the airport. But I go early again, so I won't miss my flight. I'm closer to being there. I just don't like to, it's just not wise to take a risk and try to get there at the nick of time. We all know you need to be there early, at least an hour early. I was there like an hour early and everything was fine. But this is something these airlines could offer to people. And of course, you'd have to qualify to stay there. You can't just stay there just for the sake of it, and when you live down the street. But it would be primarily for people who have to drive a long ways or have to catch a ride a long ways to catch the flight. By being in the airport, you're there at least. And so if you miss your flight, it's either because you overslept or something like that. But you're in the airport. That's a good feeling to know, okay, I made it here. Now all I got to do is just make sure I'm up at the right time, catch my flight, especially if it's in the morning. And the airlines or these airport terminals could make a few bucks out of it. They've got to keep the cost low, though. No $150 a night, no $100 a night. Keep it low. And again, they're just not going to give these rooms out just to anybody. They would be strong. I mean, there would be some strict guidelines to follow. A person like me having to drive a long ways and trying to catch a bus a long ways so I can catch my flight, I probably would have qualified. But it would really be helpful to a lot of people, at least in this country, and make it easier for them to catch their flight on time and wouldn't have to just, stay in some motel, across town somewhere. Some of the motel businesses, of course, they will complain about this because they'll say, well, you're taking money out of our pockets. Well, remember, these rooms are not going to be available to most people, only to those who live a long ways and would like to be in the airport before their flight leaves, maybe the day before, so they can catch a flight out and be on time. I don't know how they would do this. I don't know if they have to go through screening first. Probably not. You go through screening when it's time to be there. But the point of it is you're in the airport. That's what's important. And that's a good feeling. Okay, I've made it. And as I said, all you got to do is just make sure you're there. You go through security, an hour before your flight leaves, or maybe an hour and a half. But then you don't have to catch a cab and run up to the airport and have to, get in there. Because sometimes you can take a cab or something like that, or a shuttle or something, and something happens to them, to the shuttle or to the cab, and you miss your flight. Or the cab driver is lost. And I've had that happen to me before in LA once. And actually here in Hawaii back in '89. where the cab driver was completely lost. The one in Los Angeles was completely confused of where he was even at. He ended up letting me off in front of the Beverly Hills Hotel, of all places. But anyhow, that's just an idea of mine. I think would be great. It would be an advance, an improvement in helping people fly. It's just an idea, and it's just something that you could pitch, you know, to your congressional representative to get a little heat on them, to maybe just pitch the idea to the airlines, and maybe the government and airlines can work something out. Again, what I'm concerned about though is they don't charge a lot of money, you know, to stay in these rooms. It should be really low. These motel rooms could also help accommodate stranded passengers who are going to be laid over for 6, 8, 10, 12, 24 hours, and it's better than just having to sit on the floor or in the chair there. That would be able to help them some. Again, it's not that difficult of an idea. It's just a matter of finding people in the airline industry that like it, and in government. Anyway, I just thought I'd pitch that idea, and hopefully you will like it, and hopefully one day it will become a reality. Goodbye.